All right, every guys. All right, every guys. That's what
All right, every guy, no girls.
All right, everybody. Welcome to a special No Girls Allowed episode of Geekout, Freakout. As always, I'm your host Jeff, joined by my bro Spencer. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
And today, instead of my average wife, she's gonna kill me when she listens to this
Instead
episode.
of my average wife.
We have my bro Justin, who we often talk about, finally on the podcast to give his opinions that are the polar opposite of mine at all times.
How do you do?
Justin, the Drussin, Anzalone.
Hello, good sir. So this is also special. It's the first episode in our new format where we're splitting it up. So this will be Monday's upload, just talking about comics. Video games will be coming on Wednesday, and more at-length discussion on Friday. So that's going to be the new format. Hopefully you guys can, get in lockstep behind what we're trying here pretty quickly.
We're giving you some morsels as opposed to a smorgasbord. Is kind of what we're trying out here. I think it'll be a little easier going down.
A little easier to consume. Does this mean it's season 3?
No, it's absolutely. Well, we've got potentially another surprise coming. So I would say this is season 2.
We can jump to season 4.
Okay,
that.
well then, yeah, this is season 3. Season 3 might last all of a week. But welcome to season 3 of Geek Out Freakout Pod.
So to start us off with, we got some information about some old Star Wars news. There was some more pictures that Rian Johnson or Ryan, do you pronounce it Ryan?
It's Ryan.
Is it Ryan?
Yeah.
I thought it was Rian.
Like Rihanna, but you just stop?
Well, I mean, it's a
just get halfway through the name?
different name entirely, but sure, yeah, like Rihanna, but you just stop.
Well, whatever his name is, the dude directing The Last Jedi released some cool screenshots. One of them is of Poe's X-Wing attacking a... dude, I'm so blanking. What's the name for the Empire that's not the Empire?
Last Order?
The New Order. The First Order. That's
The
it.
last
God.
order, the new order, the first order.
Whatever.
No, it is the first order. It's a late night pod, guys.
Yeah, we did spend the entire day at Kings Island riding roller coasters, getting our bodies absolutely annihilated. So we're all pretty exhausted at Justin's place right now.
And none of us are as young as we'd like to think that we are, and I feel like I spent the whole day getting the shit beat out of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ugh.
So Poe's X-Wing, though, have you seen the picture at all, Spencer?
I've seen the picture.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I saw it briefly, but I didn't.
It's
was
so
in passing.
It has a like a clearly retrofitted like big fucking rocket booster attached to the back of it, and the X-Wings have like the 4 engines. So now there's a big white engine on the back. Supposedly this is somehow allows him to like go super fast to get right into their fleet past some defenses or whatever. I think we'll get a really cool space combat sequence, which is kind of the one thing that
It was
Force
missing.
Awakens. Yeah, there was definitely some cool X-Men sequences, but I don't think there was anything in space. It was on the surface of Starkiller Base and on the surface of
Yeah.
Well, I guess their little escape at the beginning.
Sure, and not to knock those sequences because that was one of my favorite parts of the movie is that shot where the X-Wings are coming down over the water and
Yeah,
it was so
when
cool.
he tears through and you have like that tracking shot behind Poe.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, it was great, but yeah, a nice big space battle. I'm looking forward.
Yeah,
to.
that's what it was. There wasn't a big space battle. There was no Death Star trench run or. I mean, even though they kind of ripped it off, but it was still on the surface of a planet, kind of.
No battle over Endor or
Yeah.
anything like that.
For
Do you
sure.
think that that rocket piece on his X-Wing is for, they got to replicate the whole Luke in the trench fight, because they're doing everything from the first series?
That's a possibility. We did talk about the fact that there may be another fucking Death Star. Probably not likely, but it did show up on some artwork for some of the new toys. Is a Death Star on it, which could just be marketing. But I mean, you might not be as wrong as you'd hope to be saying that. One thing that I think is cool about it though is the X-Wing, you know, the original Star Wars poster where, like, Luke's holding the lightsaber up in the air?
Oh, yeah.
There's, like, a squadron of X-Wings swooping up in the sky, and they clearly look like X-Wings, but they're illustrated to just have one trail coming behind them, and it's white, and it's coming from the back center.
Yeah.
So, like, this totally replicates that look from that original
Yeah, it's a nice
poster.
little throwback and including it in current design. I love it. I think it's going to be really cool.
They also have the actress Lauren Dern is going to be the first on-screen LGBTQ character in the Star Wars universe, which is definitely pretty cool. I think she's playing a rebel general of some kind.
Okay.
Or maybe a senator. I've seen pictures of her. She's dressed all fancy schmancy, which made me think it was a senator. But I seem to remember somebody saying like, "Nah, she's a general that likes to dress fancy schmancy." Whatever.
No, that's fine.
Are you saying that the actress?
No, the character.
The character itself.
Yeah, the character is going to supposedly, I guess, will be acknowleded as not just like in like
like Poe and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It'll actually be blatant on screen.
Okay.
I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't go full on with having it be Finn and Poe.
Well, who
in all
says
honesty,
that they're not going to?
That's true.
You don't know
That's
that.
true. They definitely might. But that was one of like my favorite. I usually hate when people
Going
like,
crazy fan theory.
just shipping in general.
Yeah,
right? When people-
it's a sad side effect of some like fandoms.
Yeah, exactly. Like people do like fucking Rey and Kylo on like Tumblr, and it's like, oh my god, please, that is
Just stop.
fucking nauseating. They may or may not be related.
Yeah,
like,
we still have to figure that out. There's no way that they're keeping Rey's parentage, like because here's the thing: either they don't acknowledge it, and sorry, this is a tangent, but
That's fine.
either they don't acknowledge it. And there's a statement to be made, like evidence to suggest that
Right.
maybe she's not anybody special.
Yeah.
Just she's Rey. She's the next, protagonist or what have you. But they've made such a big deal about her parentage and that shot of her on Jakku. I almost said Jeddah.
Yeah. Get all those Star Wars desert planets mixed up.
Oh my god! With the shot of her looking up as a ship flies away, like there's something to it. There's absolutely something to it. Who knows if she's a Skywalker or if she's Kenobi, like that dumb shit fan theory suggests.
Yeah,
but-
oh god, that's the worst
I
one.
hope she's not a Skywalker. Is all I'm gonna say.
See, I want her to
We've had
be.
this discussion.
I think I would be most happy if she was a Skywalker, if that's their way of retconning like Mara Jade.
Would you be okay with the whole fan theory that she's like Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter?
I mean, I think it's
That seems like way more of a stretch to me.
yeah, for
Especially if you know
for
anything
sure.
about
That's
Kenobi.
why I like it. I don't like something that's so simple as she's a Skywalker.
I got
You know what I mean? Like I feel like
I see where you're coming from.
It's
It is a bit
logical-
tropey, maybe.
Yeah, and it's like a logical conclusion. Like, oh, that's another Skywalker. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just feel like that's a very boring.
Like, why is this one family so fucking in control of everything that
Midichlorians,
happens?
Because it's the line of King Arthur.
I guess you're right.
man.
No, it is the midichlorians, dude.
Like I always think about it
Is
in
that
terms
still-
of King Arthur, like
I don't follow. What do you mean?
just in the sense that okay, maybe that's not the best example, but like
Because I didn't know King Arthur had like
no,
children and stuff.
sorry, I'm thinking Dark Tower. That's something that they talk about in Dark Tower. But
Oh.
but anyway, like just I don't know. That's a trope maybe because it's Star Wars and I grew up with it, but that's a trope that I'm kind of okay with, that like there is destiny involving this family, and it involves a
Sure.
lot of other people,
Sure.
and it involves a lot of other events. But the Skywalker line,
It's kinda-
Jeff,
like you
let
were
me
saying,
ask you a
like,
question.
it's kind of a mythological
Have
thing.
you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?
We also got information that the director for episode 9, Colin Trevorrow, is totally fired. Totally 100% canned. He's not doing it.
Which sounds like a good thing.
Yeah. Are you familiar with this director's works? He directed the most recent Jurassic Park, which was a just fine movie.
It was
that would've-
okay, yeah.
Right, but how hard is it to make a decent movie with T-Rexes fighting T-Rexes?
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
it's more of a spectacle than it is a
Yeah.
story.
And also Chris Pratt. Like,
Let's be real.
Yeah, you
though,
bring him in there.
That movie could have easily been terrible. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm not saying that that's a bad movie, but also there's like that doesn't seem to scream like this guy is such a good director. Like it is just a perfectly passable movie.
Well, the one for The Last Jedi, he doesn't have like an extensive catalog, but
he did.
he did really odd movies.
Yeah.
Like that. when I saw his name, I was like, huh, that'll be interesting, but also it's hard to conceive what he's going to come up with for the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I mean, he's not exactly the only one writing it.
Well,
or
apparently,
whatever,
Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, she's the president of Lucasfilm. She is ultimately responsible for Colin Trevorrow getting fired. And apparently she didn't take it lightly. The reason he was brought on board in the first place is because he is close personal friends with her husband. So there must have been, like, some real concern for her to pull that trigger. And supposedly Rian Johnson is going to be the one to do episode 9 as well. So she must be very pleased with what she's seeing with...
I thought that was speculation. I didn't think there was any official word.
This is all we do. This is all we don't know any of this.
Well, I know, but you said she must really like what she sees, which, yeah, okay.
If assuming that is true.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That I would say that means that she likes the footage she's seeing.
I thought you were privy to information I didn't have.
No,
sorry.
no. It has not been made official yet.
Okay.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, I thought the plan was to have like 3 different directors. You know what I mean? I thought everybody was relatively pleased with what J.J. Abrams brought to the table. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't they continue?
I think
have some continuity.
Yeah, I think J.J. didn't want to do any more than one.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like J.J. played it. I mean, the biggest criticism of The Force Awakens is like how repetitive it is, how many scenes there are that are just kind of scenes from other Star Wars movies.
Hey, you remember this?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and
It's not necessarily bad.
Right, as I understand it, The Last Jedi is supposed to be like, now this is like that was done intentionally with The Force Awakens to be like
It's spiritual.
Yeah, like it's Star Wars again, guys. Here's all the things you love about Star Wars, all the old characters. We got new characters. Like, you know, it's a new good Star Wars movie, and it feels familiar. But then this is going to be the one that, same as like Empire Strikes Back did, is like now everything's changed, and like this is the direction we're going in. So I'm cool with that. And I don't care who directs what, as long as it's a good fucking movie.
Yeah, I think a lot of weight gets thrown behind direction when you got to think about literally everything else about, especially for something that's as large and as far-reaching as a Star Wars numbered film.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that goes into that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did Gungan survive?
Jesus
Because
Christ. Get out.
I want a spiritual successor to Jar Jar, man. Like, that would make
Jar
my
Jar,
whole life.
in the new canon, there's actually a book.
He's a Sith Lord, dude.
No, he's not.
Obviously.
There's actually a new book in the new canon that has Jar Jar in it for a moment. And actually confirms his fate. And it's kind of really sad. He's on...
what is it? You gotta tell me now.
He's on Naboo, and Naboo is taking refugees from the Outer Rim that have been displaced due to the First Order. And he greets the children, the refugee children that come to Naboo, the capital city. He's basically like, he's referred to as an old jester, and he's like juggling balls and then tumbles into a fountain, and the kids laugh at him and think he's really funny. And one of the adult refugees asks one of the Naboo locals, like, what's this guy's deal? What's his story? And they're like, supposedly that guy is responsible for a whole lot of really bad shit, and he's been outcast. But all he wants to do is make people happy, so he's just here trying to make the kids happy. Which I feel like is actually a really cool way to handle the character, because A, he is totally the one that gave the vote to give Senator Palpatine emergency controls and was able to do all of his plans, right? He's a bumbling idiot, and also he was put in the movies just to make kids happy, but people didn't like that. So they're like, that's now his fate for the Star Wars universe, is just making kids happy in the universe, and everybody else doesn't like him, and that's fine. So, I don't know. I think that's funny. We also got, as far as prequel information goes, the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Did you see the comments about the Millennium Falcon?
No.
So the Millennium Falcon supposedly is going to be brand new in the movie.
Oh,
it's gonna
sick.
It's gonna have white and blue paint, like it's gonna be painted and shiny.
Yeah.
Owned by Lando.
Okay.
And we're gonna see the actual cargo transport in action.
Okay.
The prongs on the front of it is a trait that's in a lot of YT freighters. Mm-hmm. Those are for clamping onto like big cargo containers.
Yeah.
They actually push them like a what's the boat? There's a boat that pushes things instead of pulls things.
No,
the one
I'm
that pulls things is a tugboat, but I don't know the one that pushes things.
I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
Yeah, the whole load's in front of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a tiny little thing compared to the payload.
And that was part of the original like concept artwork for the Millennium Falcon.
Really?
Yeah, it was that was the intent for that prong design, is like it kind of sockets in there. If you will.
When we jack together all these different pieces of different models, they happen to look like this. So here's the reason why it's there.
Exactly.
I mean, it works out.
So I think that's super cool. I like to see the ship looking like that.
No, absolutely.
As far as news in the MCU, we have Jeff Loeb, who is the head of all things television based for Marvel. As you can imagine, he's having a fantastic fucking week due to the amazingly good reception of the Inhumans premiere.
Man.
I saw people on Reddit. There was one guy that posted, I'm at a premiere for the Inhumans at my local IMAX. I'm the only person in this theater. Ask me anything. And he was just Redditing the entire time, live from the theater. The reviews for it have been absolutely fucking horrible.
Are there words in the English language to describe just how, like, bottom of the barrel the reviews? Like,
it's
I've not seen something.
I read a review that said it's the worst thing Marvel's done since the unreleased Fantastic Four movie.
Ooh, that's bad.
It only made like $1 million, like 1.4 mil.
Yeah.
During the premiere, right?
Right. Yeah, something like that. Not good. Most theaters had like 1 or 2 people in them at a time. There was a couple of instances where there were some relatively packed theaters here and there in really busy places.
I didn't see a single advertisement for that, and I
for the IMAX.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
and I
watched the trailers and remember we thought it was obnoxious because it's real small and the trailer gets bigger and it's like everything is bigger in IMAX.
Yeah, but also like I run around online in circles where I should be getting targeted ads for that.
Sure.
I should be getting those ads, like whether
Instead,
it's before
I just get
a YouTube
ads
video.
for things that I've just purchased.
No, yeah, absolutely. But like, I mean, not that would have helped,
right,
like the reception, obviously, and.
But ABC
I don't know, man. And it completely fucking. It came out so soon after the Defenders. The Defenders didn't have a shot to get a review cycle.
Right.
They didn't have a shot for like, okay, here's some praise for Marvel's, television unit.
Right.
And
here's maybe the reason why though that was done. Jeff Loeb, ABC is supposedly very upset about the quality of it.
Yeah.
And Jeff Loeb gave in an interview, he was asked about if this was going to negatively affect their relationship with ABC, and he said, no, ABC is absolutely the, quote, mothership of everything we're doing that isn't a movie. Right, exactly.
Excuse me.
Because ABC is where fucking Daredevil and Jessica
it's like,
Jones
the
are.
mothership. You've got things like Inhumans. You've got things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You have Inhumans.
Have you ever seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all?
I think I started watching the first episode and I was so disinterested and I turned it off.
Yeah, it's very clearly a television show with a television show budget to me.
It's really up and down. There was the last half of the second season was really cool because it tied directly into when the movie The Winter Soldier came out. Mm-hmm. And it like picks up right after Winter Soldier ends. And obviously they're agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so the total dissolution of S.H.I.E.L.D. affects the show in really cool ways. Samuel L. Jackson was on the show as Fury, really fucking cool. And then it kind of sucked for a long time because of it. They followed Inhumans shit even before the Inhuman show.
Yeah.
That's what it was all about. And it's like, nobody cares about your fucking second-rate X-Men, dude. Yeah. If we can't have the X-Men, just use something else. Don't try to replace them with fucking Moon X-Men. But
I think I'm most disappointed, just on a side note. Spencer said it in a previous podcast, but I really like the actor from Game of Thrones that's in it.
Rian Johnson.
Yeah. No, that's the director for Star Wars.
Good Lord, it is so late, guys. Ewan Rian.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Ewan Rian.
He is...
he plays Maximus in Inhumans. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of British shows. He was in, I believe, the British version of Shameless.
Okay.
which Shameless is really popular.
Yeah.
I really like the British version, and it's disappointing to see him in a project like that. After the character that he was so good at.
From what I've seen, actually, he gets the only amount of praise out of anything that happens in the show.
He's a terrific actor, and he's got range, so whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
I know, but like when you
do you know what his Inhuman power is? Because the Inhuman are exactly like the X-Men. They all have different unique powers. The only difference is instead of it occurring naturally, they have to be exposed to this space crystal, whatever. But his power is that he has no powers. That's that's his character.
So he's human, not
No,
an inhuman.
Nope.
No. He's been exposed to the space crystal, and it revealed to him nothing.
That he's a normal guy.
That he's a normal guy, but he's not a human because he lives on the moon.
Apparently, the plot is like the main characters, Black Bolt and Medusa, are the royal family, and the way things that it's represented is that they are the ruling class of the Inhuman Society, which they live in a city called Adelon on the moon, and anybody who gets a really cool power when they're exposed to the Terrigen crystals gets to join the ruling class. And anybody who gets a shitty power, which is like 90% of the people, have to spend their entire lives working in mines, getting more crystals.
In the moon mines
Right.
of the moon.
And the plot is that Maximus leads the 90% to overthrow the royal family. And it's like the whole time, it's like we're supposed to feel like, oh no, how could they betray the royal family?
Yeah, he's
like
the
that?
antagonist.
Right, but instead, all the viewers who have seen it and who've reviewed have been like, I'm just like, well, yeah, fucking go. This is pure shit. Why would they do this?
Moon miners deserve rights too,
They're
man.
a terrible fucking royal family.
Is that all Jeff Loeb said?
Yeah, pretty much. He did say there's a more series coming to ABC.
All right, whatever, man.
They're not going to be as good as the ones that are coming to other places.
They have such a good thing going with Netflix.
Well, for now, until their
Yes.
streaming service comes out.
Yep.
I think that's part of it.
They did confirm this week that the Marvel and Star Wars properties will be moving only to Disney's new streaming service.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? They're all owned.
From a company standpoint, that does make sense. My only fear about it is how it will affect the shows that are currently on Netflix.
They
as far
are
as
violent.
right, as far as if they bring them to Disney, how that'll change them.
I mean, they're going to have to package it separately. There'll be an adults. It's probably just like Netflix. They have an adults, for adults.
I
and
can't
for
imagine,
kids section.
but I can't imagine
What
opening
other
up
Disney
a Disney app and clicking
properties?
for adults. Yeah, you know, what I'm saying?
and there are only 4 shows in that section: Iron Fist, Luke Cage,
Right.
Jessica Jones, and Daredevil.
Well, I mean, all their sports streaming, kids aren't going to care about that.
Disney's
Keep
not
it
going to be
separate.
doing sports. It's
They
just
own
going to be.
ESPN.
Right, but that's
Are
not
they
going to be on.
adding
That's not
ESPN
going to
to
be on.
I mean, they
the-
wouldn't put that all together.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think
because
they are, no.
that stuff's different. That's like they're not like they own Hollywood Records, where like Atreyu and people like that put out albums, but they're not gonna slap the
Bring
Disney
that
brand
to it
on
too.
it.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
in terms, that's still streaming content. You know what
Sure,
I mean? Like
sure.
ESPN streams. You have ESPN3, which streams.
Yeah, I mean,
sports
I
and
don't think that
stuff. I don't
ESPN's going to be brought to their new Disney streaming service. As I understand, it's intended to be like you can stream their whole backlog
Just
of
movies.
movies.
Yeah, here's movies,
TV
here's the TV
episodes from all,
shows.
like Lizzie McGuire and all that stuff.
I mean, that's a good
Was
point.
that Disney or was that Nickelodeon?
No,
I
that
don't
was Disney.
remember.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, that was Disney Channel.
Yeah.
But it might not affect anything. It could be that they still have Netflix produce the original content. That's my only fear of it. Otherwise,
I don't think that makes sense.
that they would have Netflix do it. I mean,
Yeah.
right now they own ABC, and they have Netflix make shows instead of put it on ABC.
I know, but
because
you-
the content fit, and they make a lot of money off of it. They're not a dumb company.
Yeah, I know, but it goes against the core concept of them actually creating their own streaming service from a business
Well,
standpoint.
so what I think is that basically the MCU movies will only be on Disney. The
That's what
Avengers,
they're. That's
Captain
really
America.
got to be what they're interested in.
Yeah, that those will be on their streaming service. The Star Wars movies will be on their streaming service. Presumably, maybe if they make another original Star Wars animated series, that might be on there. But I think that they'll still keep. I think it's likely that they'll still keep their Netflix deals intact.
It's also Netflix, if I understand correctly. It's Netflix people who are acquiring the production talent behind these shows, and that's been so top notch. I don't know if Disney would have taken it on themselves, but also, to play devil's advocate, if it did come to pass that they were all going to be under that umbrella at the new streaming service from Disney, I I would say that I've appreciated their handling of a lot of those properties already.
They wouldn't fuck that up.
Well, look at the end of Rogue One. I think that's a feather in the
Right.
cap of them maybe thinking that they can go a different direction with things.
Sure.
Everybody fucking dies in a
Yeah.
tragic manner. So, you know, I think...
Still isn't quite the same thing as the awesome superhero sex scenes between Jessica and Luke.
I know. I just want more. I want a show called Jessica and Luke, and I want it to be rated X. And
I want a show called The Defenders, and let's just have the Defenders and not have the individual shows for the most part. Is really kind of what I want.
no, absolutely
Let's
not.
do 4
I
seasons
want.
a year of The Defenders.
I want Daredevil.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Let's see season 2, and I'll come back to that answer.
I'll say that I only enjoyed Daredevil, and I only liked Jessica Jones because of Kilgrave.
I mean,
Yeah,
David
Tennant
Tennant
you don't
was a
like
huge
Kristen
part of
Ritter,
it.
right? You can't stand her?
I don't mind her as an actor. I just find the character of Jessica Jones very annoying. I understand the condition and whatnot. I'm just saying.
No, I get it.
I want
I
to go
get
back
it.
to the point of. I think that they have agreements in place for the shows that they already have on
Right.
Netflix. But
Sure.
anything beyond that,
Right.
after those
Is-
agreements,
is
any
certainly
new
up in the air.
property, I would say, would probably be on Disney.
Again, I don't know if this streaming service is intended to provide any new original content at all. They haven't said anything about that. They haven't said that they were going to be making new shows for it or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at it, the point I was trying to make is you don't want to separate your viewer base. You don't want to have some people using this app and some people over here. You want to
Right.
centralize that all. So I
But
would
they're
imagine-
currently making fuck tons of money by separating their user base.
Exactly.
In the respect to ABC has Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a lot more kid-friendly than something that would go on Netflix, but it still is more adult than something that they would put on the Disney Channel, right? So it's not on there. It's not a kid's show, but they don't put Jessica Jones on ABC because ABC won't let them show superhero fucking. And they want to show superhero fucking. You know
Just
what I
as
mean?
to speak to your point, where the idea is to consolidate your viewer base, I would argue that you have a better shot of consolidating your viewer base by separating them out, as Jeff said, to different areas. So you consolidate viewer base A, who's into X, Y, and Z on ABC.
Yeah.
Oh, that was confusing. And then you consolidate viewer base B on Netflix because that's what they're into. Like they're a lot of the people who are going to be watching the shows on ABC would probably check out the Disney app. But a lot of people who, like me, go to Netflix to watch the Marvel shows, I'm probably not going to touch that Disney app.
I mean, I'll totally touch the Disney app to be able to watch all the Star Wars movies easily via streaming because that's like fucking never possible.
Sure, yeah, and you know,
disagree with-
Sword in the Stone was good.
I mean,
What's,
not that I would ever pirate. Okay, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't use the app ever.
Yeah. But we also have some information about another original show that is getting good reviews, The Runaways. The
Yeah.
first 2 episodes of The Runaways, which is a Hulu original, and is a Marvel property. The special effects apparently aren't done, and people still watched it and were like, this is really fucking good.
Really?
Yeah, with totally unfinished.
It's still in post.
They said it was to the point where there were scenes where it's literally just a green screen with a written description of what is supposed to be happening.
Wow.
And they were still like, yeah, it's good as fuck.
Okay.
So-
I'm sold. I've had high hopes on that since the first trailer.
Yeah, man, I hope it's really good too. I mean, it features a fucking, as I've brought up multiple times, a girl who has a psychic connection to a time-traveling velociraptor. So we just
that's the one
get
you're
that in
talking
there.
about.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys were talking when you started this conversation about this. I had no idea what you were talking about.
Sure. Yeah, the Runaways. It's a group of like younger kids who have some superpowers, but their parents, they find out, are all super villains, and they meet every year. The kids only know each other because every year their parents, who are supposed to be like old friends, all get together for like a party, and so the kids are stuck hanging out like in the basement, right? And like they kind of get along, but whatever. It's like, oh, this sucks. We have to do this every year.
You're my cousin, and you're kind of like a similar age to me, so
Yeah.
we're hanging out.
It's like Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they find out one year that like they stumble across what their parents are doing in the other room, and it's like they're murdering a lady to appease like some god of destruction, and they're all supervillains. And so they decide that they have to stop their own parents. So it's kind of it's a lot of like teenage drama angst. which can be fine.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm into that.
sometimes that's what makes the X-Men good, and sometimes I think that's what's missing from the X-Men movies is the comics have a lot of that, and it's not in the movies.
I think the movies are just missing like good writers.
That's fair, but I also like My Chemical Romance a lot, still to this day. So I mean, Teenage
It's so
Angst,
weird. I was
you know.
going to talk about MCR. God.
But I like I think the comic's really cool, and also a psychic pet velociraptor. Yeah.
Yeah, let us not lose sight of the most important point.
Sure, yeah, I'll take another delicious Miller High Life.
You know what? Fuck it. Give me one.
All right.
Thank you.
There's also been a new TV spot for Thor, where he names his new team Thor the Revengers, which I think is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I wish I knew what god to build an altar to who got Taika Waititi involved in a...
I mean, apparently it's Thor. the
Son of a bitch!
The Norse god of thunder.
Yeah. God damn. I have unbridled excitement to see Ragnarok.
I am so ready. Let me watch it now, please.
I saw Guardians and I saw Guardians 2 and it was like, man, these are just some of the best, most fun movies. How would they ever top anything like that?
I'm almost afraid. I feel like my hype levels are, if anything, too high.
No, what do you mean
I feel like
too high?
But I feel like it'll pay off. They also
all signs point to hilarious adventure,
Right.
and actually a lot of stakes. Like, let's not forget what its namesake is.
Right. Empire Magazine did a special on it this week, so there's a bunch of information that came out about it. Some interesting ones I thought were that in Thor, Valkyrie, the character, is because Valkyrie is the name of a character, and she leads the Valkyrie.
Right.
So the character, apparently, Thor is smitten with, basically.
That makes sense.
Because they're eternal. Like, I mean, you know, they're relatively what they are in the Norse mythology. They carry their warriors to Valhalla, and engage in permanent battle in the realm of hell.
Yeah.
So Thor, since he was a child, has looked up to this person as like his own Thor, right? Like his own deity, and is like smitten when he meets her, and is totally because they do form a relationship in the comics, and it seems like maybe they're gonna phase out Jane Foster since Natalie Portman does not want to return to the MCU. Yeah, she was so boring.
There wasn't much of a use, really. Like, not to knock.
She's been in some really good movies. Those movies are not Thor.
Dennings.
I don't know what that is.
Kat Dennings, Jane Foster's little science sidekick.
Oh my god, dude.
She's obnoxious.
Oh god.
Yeah.
That was awful.
I thought the meow meow line was funny.
Let's be real though, like the best part of the next movie, Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. I just want to hear Thor ask Hulk if he wants some Buscetti.
You want some Buscetti?
Taika Waititi had a thing on Twitter where he was interviewing, giving an interview talking about himself, because he's also plays a character in the movie.
What?
And so he was like, Taika Waititi, what was it like working with actor Taika Waititi? And like just going on and just talking himself up, and then being like, the thing is, when you work for the director Taika Waititi, it's so easy to give your best performance. And like, it was really funny.
I will say
he also took a shot at
Star Wars. Yeah, someone tagged him on the Colin Trevorrow news about the Star Wars director. It was like, what do you think? A Taika Waititi Star Wars movie? And he responded with, no thanks, I like to be able to finish my movies.
Ooh.
Spice.
Kathleen.
I like him a lot. I am worried, like, I like the humor moments. I just don't want it to feel too campy.
From what I've seen in the trailers, I feel like it is very campy, but in the absolute best way, if that makes sense. Thor is the goofiest.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, Thor, especially like the old, like the Cosmos stuff is just weird. It's super weird because Thor is like this god who is, ye shall perish at the might of Thor. But like he's flying through fucking space talking to aliens and shit. Like,
well, part of the problem is all of that stuff is more for child audiences.
I don't think so. No, absolutely not.
Child
Space
audiences.
No, I meant like
Taika Waititi?
No, like the Avengers and stuff like that. It's not.
I don't think those movies
I don't know.
No, I think those movies work perfect for like any age audience.
Okay.
I mean, do you hate the movies in general? Do you just not like them, or do you think
No,
they're too
I
childish?
think they're okay. I just like I felt like there are some parts of them where the humor is actually like feels it flows well, and there are some
Right.
parts where it's just like awkward and like a stupid joke. You know what I mean? Like
But you really like the movie What We Do in the Shadows.
yes.
So I mean, I think it's safe to say that if any director who's worked on a Marvel movie can handle the comedy in a really good way, it is this director.
yeah. I mean,
know?
I don't really know his other work, but yeah, I mean, I have some confidence. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
feel
I
like,
see what you're saying. You don't want it to be a fucking joke fest.
well, yes, and I also feel like like in the second Avengers, there were times where I felt like
The second Avengers is one of the worst, in my opinion.
Age of
Marvel
Ultron,
movies.
is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
So
Yeah.
I felt like there were parts where the humor cut into the seriousness of the situation, and like I kind of lost my interest in what was happening. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I lost my interest really early on in that movie, and it didn't pretty much get it back at all.
I got Vision in that movie, and I still couldn't.
But they also said that the Valkyrie, the multiple characters, are going to be treated as like the SEAL Team 6, like Odin's personal SEAL Team 6.
Oh, dope.
Which
Dope
sounds
as
cool
fuck.
And my favorite news that they announced is Hela is going to be not just the character is going to be not just based on the goddess of death Hela from the comics. They said that she is also being based on Gore. And Gore is the killer of gods.
Yeah.
From my favorite fucking Thor run, which makes sense now. In the trailer, when we saw her give that line, tell me what are you the god of? Which is a line from Gore, and it's going to be represented in that she apparently will possess. I think it's called the Ebony Blade or the Black Blade, and it's a sword that can kill gods and that's fueled by the blood of gods. And it can manifest as any number of different weapons. It's like a part of her body, or it's a part of Gore's body.
Oh, okay.
Basically, so it's almost like some Omni Slash, which you kind of see her do in the trailer as well.
You absolutely
she
do.
has all those swords around her.
Yeah.
yeah. Gore can do that. That's part of his powers. So I think that rumor,
Yeah.
definitely checks out. Well, there was some stuff not tied to the big comic publishers. What do you guys think about rebooting The Crow? Because that's happening. Do you think that's a movie that needs to be rebooted? Do you like The Crow, the original, the first Crow?
yeah.
I do too. I think it's a really fucking good movie.
But they should have ended after.
The first one.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that, especially now, like, we are way too past the time for that, like, specific 90s era of, like, industrial goth
Yeah, man. Like,
to be marketable.
there's no way it doesn't come off as the most cringy, edgelordy thing
Yes.
possible.
I mean, the first movie is the most cringy,
No, it
edgelordy
it
thing
absolutely
possible.
is, but we didn't have that as a part of our culture, and it still seemed slightly new,
Right.
slightly different,
Yeah.
slightly like legitimately edgy, as opposed
Right.
to edgy, which is what it would come off as now. Like, I mean, anyway.
I'll just say that I don't think there was much story to begin with. So what?
And it was all told by the end of that one movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
let's-
for
Also,
sure.
do you think Adi Shankar has that much time to like act in a film while he's doing everything else?
I don't know, man. He's a busy guy. We also got Indiana Jones 5 is for sure officially happening.
Yeah.
And it will star Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
No, Shia LaBeouf. It actually confirmed Shia LaBeouf would not be reprising his role, and that character won't be in it at all.
I wonder why.
The whole reason I added it to the notes is because I want to get this out there.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Shia LaBeouf was the fucking best part of that garbage ass movie.
Yeah, no,
and people say it's Shia LaBeouf because they don't want to admit that Harrison Ford fucking phoned it in throughout that entire piece of shit movie.
Absolutely. And that it was just a piece of shit movie.
Absolutely stupid plot, awful special effects. Every aspect of it was fucking terrible. But what always happens when it's brought up, a lot of people, they go straight to,
fucking Shia LaBeouf.
ruined that movie.
Yeah.
No, he was fucking fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The character they wrote, he fucking played perfectly fine.
When I said I wonder why, it's simply because he's very publicly gone insane.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, that's why I gave this sarcastic I wonder why.
I will say,
that Harrison Ford needs to just stop. Retire,
Yeah,
please.
man.
Come
Like,
on,
come
He
on.
did really good
I
on
think
Star
he's
Wars,
phone-
and that may have been luck. I don't know. And now we
Yeah.
got Blade Runner coming out. Stop it, dude.
Yeah.
I think he's phoning everything in. I mean, he's old as hell. He's been in airplane accidents. Is he
Right.
still all there? I don't know. He's fantastic.
I think he
but,
is. But I think
he
he's
play-
really fucking baked whenever he.
Yeah,
films
no,
his scenes.
baked or drunk, one of the two or both, because it's like there is an air throughout the entirety of fucking episode 7 that it's just something's a little off, but it's okay because it's
Right.
like got a little bit of swagger attached to it, almost like
Right.
old man swagger, but it doesn't feel like it comes from a natural place. It feels like when you describe Stick on the Netflix shows as just being a drunk guy who stumbles onto set.
He was the best part of that show, dude.
I miss him.
I thought he was amazing. I liked the Defenders a lot, but I didn't think the plot was super great. But yeah, Stick was always amazing, and he was amazing in Daredevil.
What, you don't like the Dragon Bones?
We also got a plot description for Hellboy.
Oh, I missed this.
Yeah, so Hellboy is the basic plot is that Hellboy travels to the UK to do battle with the Blood Queen, played by Milla Jovovich, and that their battle brings about the apocalypse, and that Hellboy tries to reject that fate, which is basically the plot of the original Hellboy movie.
I was gonna say this sounds familiar.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Fighting the Blood Queen, a named character instead of whatever the like green slimy sewer monsters.
Yeah, I mean,
were in the first Hellboy.
I mean, it's been described as a reboot, so like, I
Yeah.
mean, they're gonna rehash some old territory, but I'm.
In all fairness, I mean that's the coolest aspect of Hellboy is his.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be not fair.
That's
to
the
try to
character
avoid that.
motivation entirely.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Him being the hand of the apocalypse.
Have
Yeah.
they casted him yet?
Yeah, it's the what's his name? What's the actor?
David Harbour.
Yeah,
Harbor.
the sheriff from Stranger Things.
Oh,
I know, right?
Yeah, it's a good casting.
I really want to hate the movie because I feel like Ron Perlman was
I was gonna say that.
was so perfect.
Yeah.
That like I can't imagine anyone else playing the
And
character,
it's
but then
not
I
like-
was
And then
like,
someone
oh,
says
okay.
David Harbour, and you're
Okay,
like,
I'll wait for a trailer.
yeah, you
before I
start
say
thinking
he
about the
can't do it.
horns, you start thinking about his delivery and kind of
Yeah.
the way he carries himself.
Yeah.
to be fair, I haven't really seen him in anything else other than Stranger Things. So
No, neither have I.
He's
don't-
one of those guys for me. I've seen him in a couple things, couldn't name them.
Yeah, I will say that I think he did well. I think everything about that show is really great, but
course.
I can't really comment on what his performance is going to be like. I don't know why they.
I'm
wouldn't-
excited to just see a picture of him in the makeup. and
Everybody,
see-
yeah, but like, I don't know, man. Like Ron Perlman did so great, and I think
did.
it's universally like accepted that he did awesome. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you have a good thing.
I
Why not stick with it? But is it kind of like
Well, they
that Marvel
don't. They
thing
don't
where it's
have a good
expanded?
thing anymore because that thing is over. I'm not a big
no,
fan of the argument that just because like, hey, this movie happened and it was good, don't fucking touch it. Like,
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
No,
I'm not
I think
saying-
he's saying why not just continue
With just
why not make a
him.
Hellboy 3 with Ron Perlman?
No, not
Is that what
like
you're saying?
not a 3. I'll just have him continue as Hellboy.
But still reboot it.
Yeah.
Recast him in the reboot?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean
Because
that's
I think he fits
nobody's
the
ever
character.
nobody's ever done that, and I don't see any reason why not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no reason not to do that.
And I'm sure he would get a hell of a lot of money, and I think he had a great time playing that character.
Yes.
So
Yeah, 100%.
All right, fuck it. Toby for Spider-Man.
Just bring back the OG.
Oh, jeez.
Now, on the DC side of things, we got a little bit more info about the Joker origin movie. There was a supposed description of the Joker's origin from the Joker origin movie, and that this was the quote from what I read, that it was going to be about a young boy from Brooklyn who is born with a permanent smile and gets made fun of and picked on for it, so he turns to a life of sadistic crime in order to, prove everybody that you can, I guess, achieve your dreams. I don't know.
Can I take 30 seconds here?
Is it going to be to point out that he's from Brooklyn and not Gotham City? And that also, I get into this argument with people all the time. Does fucking Brooklyn exist in the DC universe?
No.
I think it might. I've seen maps of the DC universe that are wild, like, they vary wildly from each other. And I've seen some where, like, all the fictional cities are, like, wedged right next to real cities, and then others where the real cities don't exist. I don't know, man.
I think that's a footnote on the larger fucking problem here.
Of a boy being born with a permanent smile and being picked on and then being I'm the Joker.
So, well, of course, that's shitty, stupid, shitty, even if it wasn't an established character already. That's shitty and stupid and shitty. But here's why I wanted to take a moment, because this has been eating at my fucking brainstem, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when this news first came out, I didn't like the idea of doing a Joker origin story for many reasons. The number one being that there is no way to do an origin story without humanizing a character.
Sure, and that humanizes him.
And that humanizes
he's
him.
picked on.
He has no redeeming qualities.
Right.
That he's one of the only, like, pure evil.
Right.
Like, just chaos. But no, he was bullied, and then, like, they made him this way. He wasn't always this way, and they made him look. He was born with a defect. He's always been. Fuck no.
Yeah.
That's not.
It's not unique either.
Right.
No, it's definitely not unique.
Do you think that that's a confusing idea? Because you know who else is confused by it, guys? Jared Leto gave an interview about it this week.
he took time out from being blind on the set of Blade Runner. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. But he was wearing blackout contacts, so he was completely blind the entire time that they filmed Blade Runner.
Because his character is blind. What a fucking maniac. Anyway,
whatever. You know, I saw they have like these prequel films that they're releasing for Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And they released one that had Jared Leto in it, and he's a pretty cool character.
That's cool.
He did a good
I
fucking
fully
job.
believe that he can act given the right circumstances, but
The
good God,
circumstances are being blind.
the circumstances are being blind.
He's won an Oscar.
That's true.
I mean, he's a good actor.
I mean,
for sure.
So have other shitty people, but
he was asked
he's a
about
good actor, dude.
he was asked about the Joker origin movie.
Yeah.
And was like, so you're not going to be like the interviewer was like, so it was a 30 Seconds to Mars thing, and they were doing some music for, I think, Destiny or something like that. I don't remember what the reason for the interview was. The Destiny 2 logo was definitely in the background of the interview, and there was
shot of Jared Leto's face.
of Jared Leto and another guy who I assumed was a member of his band.
It's probably his brother. He's the
Okay.
drummer. They co-write the music.
All right, cool. So there you go. But they were like, so DC's making a Joker origin movie, and that one's not going to star you, but there is maybe another one, a Joker at Harley movie that is going to star you. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I've heard that. and that's all very confusing.
He said that.
Yeah, he's like, but, you know, the thing about the role of the Joker is you don't own it. You know, I mean, you show up and you do, it's an honor to be able to play
certainly
the character. So you just do the best you can do. He's like, I believe I am doing a Harley and Joker movie, perhaps another one. I don't think I have any part in the origin story.
They have no fucking clue what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing, clearly.
Well, they're making a Suicide Squad 2 because that got a director this week also.
Do we have it? Who is it?
I don't know, man. Some asshole named Gavin O'Connor. I've never heard of him.
Gavin O'Connor.
I want to say something about the origin movie, so I'm like super conflicted.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a lot of discussions that Joker's my favorite villain in anything.
Yeah.
All time, and I'm interested in watching more and hopeful of a good performance.
Right.
But I think what makes him so great as a villain is that no matter like what you see him in and what scene, what comic, what show, you never really understand what he's thinking or why he's doing it.
Yes. Yeah. And like what his real motivations are, or like what's going on in there.
And exactly what you're saying, humanizing. Like I don't think you can. And that's why I think like Heath Ledger's performance was so fantastic, because he was fucking crazy.
He's just boom, there he is, and he's a fuking force of nature and chaos. Yeah.
And it's terrifying. And I think not understanding it is
way scarier.
That's like his super villain power. You know what I mean? Like
is that you can never figure him out. You can never predict.
He doesn't really have a power, so to speak.
Right.
Or he's just insane, dude. Mm-hmm. You know? So I really like Martin Scorsese, and I really like Leonardo DiCaprio, but like
I really like the Hangover trilogy. So
I really love old school.
Oh,
know
I
what
mean, I do
Maybe,
actually really love old school.
you know, like in the cartoon series, you know, they always had those props. You know, he had like the rubber duck that would explode and stuff like that. You know, they could always bring back the blow dart. You know, from old school.
fucking dart in your neck, Joker.
Okay, so I'm now an expert on Gavin O'Connor.
Yeah, what's he done? Did
It's
some
gonna be
music videos or something?
It's gonna be bad.
What he did the Korn music video where the bullet flies through everything. They were like, "This is the guy. This is the guy we need. We need this kind of vision."
Oh, wasn't he already using the Matrix?
Falling away from me. No, he did The Accountant.
I didn't watch
Is that
movie.
it?
Which
is
is-
that the end of the list?
No,
Oh, okay.
he directed Miracle, which is a movie I haven't heard of.
Okay.
He did The Americans, which is semi well received, but that he was just a producer on that.
Miracle is about the U.S. hockey team beating Russia.
That sounds boring as fuck.
Or is that
Yeah.
Miracle on Ice?
And The Accountant is a movie that I've actually seen.
Is it good?
No. Ben Affleck does a really good job. J.K. Simmons does a really good job. Also has Anna Kendrick and John Bernthal.
Oh, that's
Also known as
a lot
the
of big name
Punisher.
actors, and the movie still sucks.
It's just a fucking splatter action film
I feel
thriller
like
type
any
of thing.
movie's gonna
like-
suck that you have J.K. Simmons in, and he's not playing J. Jonah Jameson.
It's
If
true.
You don't let him.
You're not giving him his best tool set.
If you don't give him the lines, "I need more pictures of Spider-Man," then he's not gonna be bringing his A game.
Have you seen?
But no, it
Whiplash?
looks like they dropped their directorial budget as far as what they're willing to pay people for Suicide Squad 2,
Yeah.
because there's no way that guy gets.
I mean, there's no way that movie will ever be good, anyways.
You
So-
see, I
I feel like Suicide
that
Squad
after
had
the first one.
I feel like the first one had more merits than some people give it credit
I
for.
know.
But
it definitely
disagree.
took
I
a
thought it was
crazy fucking shot out of nowhere.
It feels kind of the main defense I have for it is like the editing style and stuff. It feels very comic booky.
Yeah,
And that may be overall a weakness for it, but I didn't hate that aspect of it. Like,
yeah,
like
it's
I
just
kinda
not.
said,
It's not supported by the writing. It's not supported by
Yeah.
the plot. It's really only supported by the performances of
Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie and
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
my opinion.
I thought the character of who's that model that played the Enchantress? I like the character of the Enchantress.
Oh yeah. She's cool.
I think she's cool looking. I thought
How they did her powers,
Yes.
like the split personality thing, was really
and
fucking
I thought
cool.
Margot Robbie was good. I like Will Smith, but I didn't like his performance.
He was fine. I thought he was fine, but nothing better than that.
I don't know. I thought it was. I believed his character.
It was
a little
no
bit
Men
more
in
than I
Black, I'll tell you
anticipated.
that much.
No, Welcome to Earth. See you guys next time.